Hey YouTube, this is Steve from Average Joe's Fantasy Football, and we've got your Week 10 waiver wire video. This was probably one of the craziest fantasy football weekends and just NFL games I have been a part of for a while, actually. A lot of top tier teams lost, and a lot of that reflected in your fantasy teams. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys who were performing in the top of your league probably saw some really rough games, and I saw probably some teams that really weren't expected to win were doing an amazing job. So there was a lot to kind of scramble and a lot of different things going on. But again, don't worry too much. A lot of times, sometimes your best players can have those type of games where unfortunately they underperform. It's okay. But these waivers are hopefully going to help you guys get some good players to hopefully fill in either, again, bye weeks, or maybe you're going to fill in some players that are coming back from injury or were injured. So hopefully this helps you guys out. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, this is week 10. We are here for another week. We're getting closer and closer to those playoffs. Most playoffs are going to start in about 4 to 5 weeks, depending on your league, maybe 6, but about 4 to 5 weeks. So playoffs are just about here. So I want to make sure you guys are prepared for you guys this week. Now, first thing I want to jump into is going to be the quarterback position. The first player I want to talk about is Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz, and I probably have had this on this list like every single week. He's still available in about 40% of most leagues. He's going against the Jacksonville Jaguars, who obviously did a really good job against Josh Allen. I don't know if that's going to be something that's going to happen every week. So Wentz does have a good matchup based off of statistically how the Jaguars have performed. And if you look at it, Carson Wentz in the last 3 games has averaged over 23 points a game, which is phenomenal. He's one of the top tier fantasy quarterbacks right now. So he's somebody, again, whether you're filling in for a bye week or maybe you just need to get a quarterback that's actually performing, Carson Wentz is somebody I would have to absolutely go after. Now, the last guy I want to talk about as far as quarterback waivers, I love Matt Ryan this week. Not because I obviously am a big fan of Matt Ryan, based off his matchup. And I hate to say that because as a Cowboys fan, if you guys have heard me before, I hate it when, these teams are obviously performing, but Matt Ryan's got a good matchup in the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys underperformed greatly against the Denver Broncos. You're seeing players like Trevon Diggs, who tends to go for the big play instead of actually stopping the receiver sometimes. So they give up a lot of yards. And this is where I think, again, if you look at it, this is a good matchup. He's available in about 45% of most leagues. He just put up 29 points against one of the best defenses in the New Orleans Saints. Matt Ryan looks really good, and then obviously with Kyle, it didn't really actually affect him that much, so I like Matt Ryan a lot. Now, as far as running backs go, first running back I want to talk about is Kenyon Drake. He has been available in 37% of most leagues, and the reason why I want to mention him, in the last 3 games, he's averaged 17 points a game, and he's the backup running back to Josh Jacobs. Now, obviously one of the games he did fill in for Josh Jacobs, but Josh Jacobs and Drake just played this past weekend, and Drake was still able to put up a good amount of points. He is their really pass-catching back. He does get a lot of red zone, surprisingly. It's not really Josh Jacobs as far as the red zone activity goes. So I like Kenyon Drake a lot, going against Kansas City, who, again, underperforms heavily in the defensive side. Another guy I believe is going to be a good pickup. Again, sometimes it's matchup, sometimes it's just a flex player. But Ty Johnson, I like him a lot. He's available in 87% of most leagues. Now, this week, I may not want to start him, but if you want to, if you have the bench, I would grab him. He's seen, again, available in 87% of most leagues. He's seeing 14 points a game in the last 4 games, and he's the second running back. Think about that. He's the second running back on his team. Michael Carter really has taken over, and Ty Johnson's still seeing 14 points a game. He is absolutely their pass-catching back. He's definitely their guy who, again, if they're behind, he tends to kind of get a little bit more action. So I like Ty Johnson a lot. Another guy I have as a good pickup is Devonta Freeman. Now, Devonta Freeman's somebody that you would probably go after him if Murray's still missing. And what I mean by that, Murray's been out with injury. Devonta Freeman actually did a really good job this past weekend. He had 17 points filling in for Murray as a starter. He's available in 80% of most leagues, and they're going against the Dolphins, who really greatly underperform against the pass and against the rush. So if Murray is out, they play Thursday night. It's a good chance I would pick up Freeman and start him this week. Now, the last guy I have as a good pickup is Adrian Peterson. And I understand Adrian Peterson. Everyone went crazy because he's filling in with Derrick Henry. But let's be honest. Adrian Peterson is about 90 years old. His performance is going to sometime, really for the most part, show that. This week, going against the Saints, I wouldn't start him. But the reason why I mentioned him as a good waiver, He's still available in 36% of most leagues. He might be somebody, if you have the ability to, I would bench and stash for right now. He is filling in for Derrick Henry. I can see them starting to use him. This was his first week, and he still had a touchdown. He had 9 points in fantasy. He doesn't know anything about that playbook. He just kind of ran. They did basic plays. Give it about another week, you'll start to see he's going to get a lot more carries. It's not McNichols. It's going to be Adrian Peterson getting the first chance to really do well for them. Now, as far as wide receivers, I've actually got quite a few in here. First guy I have is Hunter Renfrow. Renfrow obviously being I guess you would say the top receiver. Edwards was not it. Obviously, Waller's there. And with obviously the recent situation obviously going on with Ruggs, Renfro's the guy right now. There is possibility that OBJ might get signed by the Raiders. We're not really sure yet. Obviously, there's a lot of that going on. You'll probably find out. We'll probably break the news, obviously, when it comes out later in the afternoon on Tuesday. But Renfro's still available in 35% of most leagues, and he is seeing the second most targets on that team. He's getting a lot going his way. Get another good fill for bye weeks or, obviously, injuries. Another guy I have is Deontay Harris for the Saints. Going against the Titans right now, he's available in 85% of most leagues. He's seeing 8 targets in the last 2 games, which is great for him. Obviously, with the news of Michael Thomas pretty much officially being out for the season, they don't have a lot of options at wide receiver. Again, another team that's part of that OBJ sweepstakes, I guess you would say. But as of right now, Deontay Harris is kind of the guy for the Saints. Not crazy about him, but he is somebody you might want to sneaky put in, or maybe for those daily fantasy sports or something like that. Another guy I have is Russell Gage. Russell Gage right now, going against the Cowboys. Again, matchup-wise, this is a good one. Available in 84% of most leagues. In his official first game with Calvin Ridley out, he actually did a fairly good job. He had 13 points, and I can see that growing a little bit more. He is obviously expected to be the wide receiver 1 for the Falcons while Ridley is dealing with his mental health and kind of figuring that out. So he's somebody I would still kind of look for. Another guy I have is Brandon Ayuk. Look, I almost tweeted yesterday, free Ayuk. Just like everybody wanted free OBJ. Ayuk is very talented, and I believe in his talent and what he can do. He showed it really well last year. He's going against the Rams this week. He's available in 39% of most leagues, but if you look at the last 2 games, he's seen over 8 targets in each of those games. Maybe he's out of the doghouse. Maybe Kyle Shanahan's finally saying, you know what, maybe I need to actually use my talent that I've got on this team because they're really underperforming. And that was even with Kittle back yesterday, who actually did really well, even though some of us, just like myself, was expecting maybe a half game, low pitch game. But I do like Ayuk, so make sure you go after him. Elijah Moore, another guy. Look, Elijah Moore is available in 63% of most games. He has his coming out game this past weekend. He had 27 points on Thursday night against the Colts. He's going against the Bills. Again, a tougher matchup. But if you actually see in the last 3 games, he's seeing about 7 targets a game. He's doing really well, and a lot of that has to do with Corey Davis being out. But I talked highly of Elijah Moore over the offseason as somebody that I really thought was going to be a good sleeper for this year. And this might actually still kind of be that way. I think his matchups are starting to look a little bit better, not this week, but a little bit better. And they're starting to trust and believe in him. And again, like I said, usually when you're a team that's underperforming, you might be somebody that actually gets more playing time because they want to evaluate their rookies. They want to evaluate their younger talent to kind of see what's going to happen into the next season. So I like Elijah Moore. Last guy I want to talk about is Donovan Peoples-Jones. Look, he's a boomer bust, absolute boomer bust. He's going against the Patriots this week, who's available in he's available in 87% of most leagues. But obviously with Odell officially out of Cleveland, who's going to be the playmakers? First game with Odell out, Peoples-Jones did a good job. I know he only saw like 4 targets in that game. He had that big touchdown, which if he hadn't had that, he would have been very mediocre. Again, remember, he's a boomer bust, but just something or somebody you might want to keep on your radar. All right. Now, as far as tight ends go, a lot of it actually has to do with tight ends that have been hurt. First guy I have is Dawson Knox. Dawson Knox is obviously injured. He might be back this week, and if he is, he's somebody I want to pick up. He's available in 32% of most leagues, and they're playing against the Jets. He's somebody that is greatly missed. A lot of the action kind of went to Beasley while Dawson Knox was out. But again, based off of his injury, he may be back. So keep an eye on that. If he is back this week, go and grab him if he's in your waivers. Another guy I have is, again, coming back from IR is Logan Thomas. Logan Thomas going against the Buccaneers. He's expected to be back this week. Again, waiting to kind of see what happens. Not really sure. Has nothing been released yet. But he's available in 47% of most leagues, so you have a higher chance of seeing him out there. So if you're someone who's desperately in need of a tight end, you might want to pick him up right now and kind of stash him on IR just in case he does play this week. Last guy I have is Dan Arnold. Dan Arnold's going against the Colts. Look, he's available in 73% of most leagues. He's seeing 8 targets in each of his last 2 games. He's starting to really develop really well with Trevor Lawrence. Again, he's somebody who's getting 8 to 9 targets. He's getting, 9 to 10 points. He's really doing really well. And again, somebody I would absolutely go after this week. So those are my week 10 waiver wire picks that I think are going to help you guys. Again, whether it be a buy or injury, you're kind of filling out. Maybe you're looking for that sleeper for this week to kind of help you out, get you closer and closer to the playoffs. So again, thank you guys so much for watching this. If you guys did enjoy the video, make sure you hit that like button. And if you are new, make sure you hit that subscribe. Also, make sure you hit us up in the comments. If you have questions of who you should drop for some of these players, and maybe there's other players in your waivers that you have questions about, hit us up in the comments down below, or follow us on our socials. You can hit us up in our DMs there. Our links are down in the description. We're on Twitter and Instagram. Feel free to ask us there. All right. So make sure you stay tuned. We'll be doing our start and sit videos for quarterback, wide receiver, running back, and tight end this week. Make sure you stay tuned to that notification bell is on, and I'll check you guys next time.